What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Pearson Podcast, episode 48. You know what I'm saying? If you're ever wondering what episode is it, you can just look at my handy-dandy magnet SpongeBob drawer thing. um, so today, right off the bat, we have a sponsor. Today's episode is sponsored by Pearson Visuals. Use code PV10 in the Instagram DMs to get a little discount on your commission. When it comes to designs, it's good to get it right. All right. Yeah, Pearson Visuals, my Instagram commission art thing. I thought that would be funny to throw in, pretend to be a sponsor. So just real quick, I'm going to go through some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about today. I don't have a whole lot, but hopefully we can make it to the hour. It's difficult doing when I don't even have anybody else to, bounce off ideas or anything. It's difficult to talk for an hour and make it boom, 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 snappy. And, some people just watch videos and react to it. I'm like, yeah, you can call that an hour, but meh, I'm just saying it's more difficult than you may think. I'm going to be talking about my opinion on the H3 lawsuit. If you guys aren't familiar, H3H3 the H3 podcast ran by Ethan and Ela Klein. It's probably my favorite podcast, and they're currently in a few lawsuits, and I'm going to be talking about my opinion on that. Going to be talking about, I'm putting in the 10,000 hours for multiple things. Going to be talking about which things I'm putting in my 10,000 hours in. Update on my back fitness routine. I was in a car accident, my back's all messed up, so it's basically like the muscles are non-existent in there. So how I'm gonna go about not having a toothpick for a spine. So I'm gonna talk about these things that I ordered that will for my back, working it out, and I'm excited for that. Stay tuned. I'm going to be talking about how often I work every day and finish up by updating you on my sound meditation channel. Okay, so let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. Sit back, relax, grab a brew, grab a coffee, grab whatever you want, and chill. So basically, starting off with the H3 lawsuit. Now, if you don't know anything about H3, stay tuned or skip forward, whatever you want to do. But it's important to me because this is my favorite podcast. I absolutely love this podcast. They upload, I think, 3 or 4 different shows a week, and it makes my life a heck of a lot better. It's my YouTube is my TV, like most people out there. I mean, I do not watch TV at all. If I want to watch a TV show, I wait for it to be on Netflix or Hulu or whatever. That's just how I work, and honestly, I feel like that's the future because, I mean, the commercials on YouTube compared to TV, it's like people have just gotten used to sitting through, I don't know how long commercials go on TV, but at least a minute. Can you imagine if before you clicked on a YouTube video there was a minute ad that you had to watch and it wasn't skippable or anything? That'd be crazy. But it's like people have just gotten used to sitting there and watching that whole time. Baloney. I ain't about all that. So yeah, the H3. So basically, it's kind of a funny thing. I'm gonna speak assuming that you know things about it. Because if I go in and explain every single little detail, it's just gonna take way too long. So if you don't know anything about this and don't give a ding dong, skip forward. All right. So there was a boxing fight just to give a little bit of backstory, there was a boxing fight, Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, hosted by Triller, I don't know, months ago, and it was a terrible fight. I mean, Ben Askren got knocked out in like, half a second, and blah blah blah. But it was, big in the YouTube realm because of Jake Paul. So basically, it's. By the way, don't you like it when you have on my door, please be quiet, filming in progress, and people be extra loud because of that? It's super nice, very friendly and respectful. So yeah, basically, this whole lawsuit started with Ethan Klein showing, basically reacting to the fight, which realistically was like 30 seconds. And he did everything you should do to make it fair use. He showed only snippets of it, commented over the entire thing. It was I can't remember the word, not constructive criticism, but whatever. Some saying things, commentary with actual substance, not just like, ooh, whoa, wow, you know what I mean? And there was times where it took up the whole screen, or at least, there was a little box where his camera was, and there was times where he took up the whole screen. So every possible thing he could have done to make it fair use, he did. And he knows exactly what to do and make it fair use because he's already been through a fair use lawsuit and won it. And it is literally used in, I forgot what it's called, not the Supreme Court maybe, but like the actual book of all these lawsuits that like change the way future lawsuits about, for example, fair use go. He's in that book or whatever. So he knows a thing or two about fair use, and he's got amazing lawyers and everything. So he did everything correct, but Triller sued Ethan Klein and sang things. Sorry, I'm distracted by people being complete ding-dongs out there. No respect. Absolutely. He got no respect for me, I don't know what that was. I was trying to go for like an Italian gangster, but I need Italian music in the back. It just doesn't work. And by the way, little off track of the off track. I usually have a little transcriptor on my phone, but my phone's dead. Basically, like if I get lost, I look at that and it tells me, what I was talking about, but it's dead right now. So I'm just gonna have to deal with people being complete, rude ding dongs, or one person in particular. Okay, so back to the juice. And I mention that because my brain is just like, it goes all over the place, and I always lose track of what I'm talking about, and that's just the reality. So, basically, Triller sued Ethan Klein, or I don't know if he sued him or just asked for a settlement type thing. I don't know. But basically, long story short, is Triller was like, you showed the fight to millions of people, and for every viewer that technically is $50, the cost of the fight. So you owe us $250 million or something, ridiculous. And Ethan Klein, knowing dang well he was in the right, he was like, F off, basically. And after a long time of this being getting serious, Ethan was like, okay, I'll just settle for $25,000. I'll give you $25,000, and it's as simple as that. So Triller responded with, we decline your offer. We need $1 million. It was 900,000, but I mean, we'll call it $1 million. We need $1 million plus you need to read this statement. And the statement was ridiculous. It was like, I, Ethan Klein, am wrong, and Triller is so amazing, basically. I mean, that, obviously not, but it was literally like, Triller has introduced incredible anti-piracy technology, game-breaking technology, and I'm like, what? Okay, so I might have just said Ryan Kavanaugh. Ryan Kavanaugh is, I don't know, the CEO or president or was or something. He owns a large portion of Triller, I believe, from what I understand. So basically, Ryan Kavanaugh is basically behind this whole lawsuit. So once Ethan found out about this Ryan Kavanaugh guy and how petty he was being and everything like that, he started going crazy with finding like every bit of dirt he possibly could on Ryan Kavanaugh, comparing him to Harvey Weinstein, because he does look like Harvey Weinstein, I believe. And, he made a website called Does Ryan Kavanaugh Look Like Harvey Weinstein? And well, he didn't make it, but someone made it. And he basically always has, like, behind me now, imagine, behind him there was like poster, like he printed out pictures and framed them of like, this variety article where it's like his ex-partner accused him as for a Ponzi scheme or something like that. And that was Variety, not my words, not Ethan's words. And basically, long story short, now that I've kind of explained it, and this has been going on for a while, and if you know anything about H3, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now that I've given you kind of the juice, now the big lawsuit is for defamation. It's for, basically all it's for is this whole Ponzi scheme having the, just keep saying the article. And it's so weird because it's the first time that I've seen Ethan actually kind of worried, because nothing has changed except because right now, before this, Ryan Kavanaugh was throwing out baloney lawsuits where the judge would be like, okay, get out of here, or Ethan's lawyer would respond to this thing that would just make it completely just thrown out immediately, because there was no substance in any of these things he was saying. But now basically Ryan Kavanaugh hired like the most leading defamation lawyer in the United States. And and here's the thing, and it's all just because the whole lawsuit, to my understanding, is based off of this running joke of when Ryan Kavanaugh is brought up, excuse me, H3 says something like, oh, his ex-partner accused him for a Ponzi scheme, blah, blah, blah. And that's not my words. That was Variety, an article in Variety. That's how it's always went. He always ends it with the Variety article, blah, blah, blah. So he's not saying, it's just referring it to the article. So basically, I wish there was some way to just say the things and assume people already kind of understand what I'm saying, but I know 99.9% of people have no idea what I'm talking about. Probably don't even know H3 podcast. So it's kind of difficult because I'm, teetering between explaining everything and... See, here's my problem. And this isn't talking about the H3. When I explain things, I'm not sure if I should explain them, because here's the thing. If I'm talking about baseball or something, and some people know everything about baseball and some people don't even know what baseball is, the people that don't even know what it is are like, why is this guy like not explaining what it is? I have no idea what he's talking about. And the people that already know everything about baseball is like, oh my gosh, get to the point. You know what I mean? So I'm always kind of teetering between over explaining things and under explaining things. And it's a difficult kind of, I honestly have no idea how to go about it. I kind of just do my best. And that's kind of all you can do. But it throws me off because I'm like, okay, I gotta explain this, when I should just, blurt it out, whatever I'm thinking. So, I don't know. But basically, why I bring that up is I think I'm just gonna cut this conversation off short. I know that there's still no substance to this lawsuit, but I do know that Ethan's been going hard on Ryan Kavanaugh because rightfully so. Ryan Kavanaugh is a ding dong. Like, he's doing such terrible things, like copy and pasting the link to the article in Ethan's uh Instagram pictures, and with like him and his family, like his son and pregnant wife, and the guy's such a ding dong that he puts a link in the comments. You can't even click on the link in Instagram comments. Yeah, he's just a terrible guy, but Ryan Kavanaugh is like, I believe H3 podcast channel will be terminated in the next, I think he said 3 weeks or 3 months, something like that. And man, if that happened, basically what he's trying to do is deplatform Ethan entirely. He's messaged like he's telling YouTube and Twitch and like every single possible platform about this. And here's the thing. It's bigger than Ethan. It's, if Ryan Kavanaugh, if Cav wins this, then it'll change things for everyone. I mean, imagine the YouTube channels that just react to things, sit there and react to things. Like, yeah, man, you're going to feel this as well. Because if he wins, then, I mean, there's so many things. Basically, I think everybody should be talking about this because it is so much bigger than just the H3 podcast. So I'm talking about it. Simple as that. Moving on. All right. Actually, bear with me for 1 second. I'm going to check who messaged me. Just 1 second. Dead air for 5 to 10 seconds. Go. Boom. All right, did I make it? Did I make it in the time zone? Hopefully. So, I've been putting in the 10,000 hours for a few things. All right, so a thing that I've already put in the 10,000 hours for, or I can check off, is Photoshop. Photoshop, boom, I'm good. Now, here are the things that I wrote down: podcasting, the sound channel, art, Blender, Pearson visuals. So why does Photoshop and art not go together? I think just doing art, and maybe I've put in the 10,000 hours if you include like drawing as a kid and stuff like that. And if you really think about it, that is what art is. I think, I'm not sure who said this, maybe Picasso. He said, everybody is an artist. It's just they forget how to. Everybody is born an artist, but the key is to remember how to be a child, or something like that. If you're really curious about it, look it up. I'm almost positive it was Picasso. Who else thought Picasso was like in the 1700s or something. He died in like 1980 or something like that. I had no idea. School for you. School, here's the ball. They drop it. So podcasting, I mean, 10,000 hours. I am prepared to do this podcast. It's kind of funny. I was like at the dinner table last night with my mom and dad. I was talking. My mom brought up, she's like, you're almost at 50 episodes or something like that. I'm like, yeah, 52 in a year as well, so I'm almost doing a year. And my dad was like, are you going to keep doing it after you do that? And it makes sense for him not to know, because he doesn't watch the episodes, and I don't know. But it's funny when like people say things and you're just like complete opposite brain waves. Like he's like, are you gonna stop doing it? And I'm like, I'm literally doing it for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like when it's complete opposite brain waves, it's almost like, whoa, that's yeah. But he didn't even respond when I said I'm doing it for the rest of my life. But that's just kind of the type of person he is. So podcasting, I'm totally prepared to do this for the next 10 years and, have like no subscribers. I really am. Because I'm not doing this for the subscribers or for the money or the prestige, or I don't even know what that means, but whatever. I'm doing this to help whoever wants to listen, to help them with things that I've been through, just things that I talk about, and helps them in any way. That's beautiful. And I'm doing this for myself because, there's multiple reasons. One, it's good just to get things out of your head and just speak. Two, it's good to learn how to speak, fluidly, especially if I can talk by myself for, an hour, then I'll definitely have no problem talking to someone that I don't know. And as an introvert, that definitely is something that I've had to teach entirely by myself. Entirely by myself. I remember the first job I got, well, the first like actual job where I cared to talk to the people that I was working with. I worked at Home Depot first, and I worked at a restaurant. I can't say the name because it's like a local place. So when at the Home Depot, I'm like, yeah, whatever. But I actually had like great coworkers, and they were older than me, and it was a golf course, so it's like kind of, old rich golfers would come in, they want to talk to you, and I just had no idea how to speak to adults, pretty much. Even people my age, to be frank. But especially at older people, and I was just so awkward and had no idea how to speak. And now I can definitely do it a lot more. But it's a skill that never stops. And I think of it like this: it kind of going in with the just helping you speak and crap like that. If Joe Rogan started this started his podcast at 25 or whatever, I think he's 50 something. So I have 20 years. Well, then again, he's done it for 10 years. He's done it for 10 years. So I believe he started around 42. I'll give him the 42, I would say. So 25 to 42, who knows what that is, but it's like, 17 years or something like that. So I technically have 17 years on Joe Rogan, plus the benefit to learn from people like Joe Rogan, people that have already done it. He didn't have anybody to, he had like talk show hosts, and maybe he wasn't the first podcaster, so maybe he learned from other podcasters, but I have such the advantage of looking at all these podcasts, seeing what makes them bad, seeing what makes them good, and evolving. So technically, my career shouldn't even start for another 18 years. So when I'm 42, I'm technically, so once I get into that kind of mindset, then I feel like, sorry for touching the mic. I know it sounds bad when I touch it. I mean, I'm completely prepared to do this podcast with no results for the rest of my life. Because that's just how you have to do it. Because if you go into it and be like, if I don't have 100 subscribers by the end of this year, I'm done. If I don't have 1,000 subscribers by the end of next year, I mean, what am I doing here? People always say it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. You know what I mean? So here's the thing. It just takes one video to boost your sales 1,000x. I kind of mixed two different things. It only takes one of my art pictures to explode my sales. It only takes one podcast to explode my subscribers. So, and my audience. And heck, who knows? Maybe Joe Rogan sees my podcast or some huge podcast and asks me to come on, sees what I'm doing. Who knows? But that's the thing about life. You have no idea. I mean, for example, you have no idea who's come into your life. And something that I hear a lot that I like is, it's kind of unrelated, but you haven't even met all the people that are going to love you in your life. That's a beautiful thing. Oh yeah, and one cool thing is my dad is a fitness director for a local hospital, and he kind of deals with elderly and uh, people like that. And I honestly don't even know. I believe it's older people though, and he's a private personal trainer. Blah blah blue. But basically, he was basically just talking to some of the people, maybe mentioned that I like film or something like that. And one of his patients said, "Oh, my son is the director of Walking Dead." So he's like, "Oh my gosh." So basically, long story short, he set up a day where me and the director from Walking Dead, his name was Michael Uppendahl. So it wasn't like the official, like there's not like one director. Michael Uppendahl directed a few episodes. They switched directors throughout all the seasons and the episodes and stuff like that. But I got to sit with the director and just him and me and at a restaurant. We just talked, and I just he just basically laid down all this beautiful information, and I absorbed the heck out of that. And I was only 19 or something like that. I don't know, 18, 19. I really don't know, but that point in my life is a little bit of a blur. When I graduated high school, it just went hard for a while. That taught me a while, and I'm gonna get in that section of my life I have not even talked about in the Pearson podcast realm, and that is probably the juiciest portion of my life from like, as soon as I graduated high school to basically the end of when COVID started, is I was going hard, just experiencing the world. And it's things that are still slightly too raw to speak on. But yeah, what was I saying? You know what I mean? I wish I had my handy dandy transcriber. Podcast. Oh yeah, I was talking to the Walking Dead director, and that was amazing. But the reason I bring that up is you never know who you're gonna meet. You never know what's gonna happen tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, for example, tomorrow, or I could open the door and there's a pile of cash on the floor, and my mom be like, "We just won the lottery" or something. Who knows? Who knows? You know, I'll still get into the other things I'm going 10,000 hours for, but I've been trying to think what if it would be good or not for me to win the lottery. And I know this is, your first instinct would be like, obviously, but if you really try and think deeper into it, I, I mean, the obvious assumption would be, yeah, it'd be great. It couldn't hurt. But I don't know. I'm trying to really think of if it would be good, because I'm not sure if I would lose the motivation to do the podcast, lose the motivation to make my art. I'm getting a phone call. Hold on just a sec, please. All right. Very sorry about that, friends and family. Moving on. Okay. So what was I talking about? Who knows? Who knows? Move on. So podcasts, 10,000 hours, sound channel, 10,000 hours. There are so many things that I that you realize that save time. Like, for example, another thing on the 10,000 hours is Blender, a 3D software. Along with updates that come out for it and just me realizing it, there are things that just save hours of time. And it's crazy, but it's just things that you would have never known unless you put in the time. Simple as that. So yeah, podcast, sound channel, art, Blender, Pearson visuals, all things that I'm putting in the 10,000 hours. And some things blend together, like obviously art and Pearson visuals. But Pearson visuals, I say in the sense of like not just art, but like, business practices and things along those lines. It's a lot of things that you just pick up along the line. All right, moving on. So an update on the old back. Plus, I got my transcriber up now, so hopefully I won't lose what I'm talking about. So an update on my back and how I need to work out. So every time I talk about my back, which I've talked about for the past 2 or 3 weeks, I talk about my plan. And I try it, and it hasn't worked out because my back is so weak that I can't throw myself into these intense exercises. Um, and I'm not sure if it's the muscles or if it's just this, the back spasms or muscle spasms or whatever that was caused by the car crash. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it makes it to where as soon as I work out my back or basically anything, it my back hurts so bad I can't work out for the next day or two. So that's just not an option. So basically, what I'm going to be doing, and I found this out this morning. Well, two things. So my dad obviously is a personal trainer and a fitness director, so obviously he knows a lot about fitness. So he's been helping me make workout plans to specifically, go with what I'm going through. So basically, I'm basically starting at the very, very minimum, very minimum. I do some basic core exercises because a lot of people don't know this, but your core is, your ribs and lower muscles, the obliques and abs and all that crap. Um, so working on those, plus doing slight dumbbell rows and walking. Now, the biggest thing on that is going to be walking. It's going to be so I found this thing out earlier today. They're called Nordic walking poles, basically. And I don't know exactly what makes them Nordic and what makes them blah 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 or whatever, or if they're just regular walking poles. Who knows? But basically, I believe it's a certain style accompanied with a certain style of walking. So basically, long story short is they're just walking poles or trekking poles, hiking poles like you'd see in, whatever. But you walk in a certain way where you're releasing it releasing the poles, and you have a wrist strap, so when you release it, it doesn't fall out. You can release and grip when you need it. I don't know, but basically, what it does is it makes walking, which is primarily obviously a leg workout and slight back and core, to a complete full body workout. Shoulders, chest, knees, and toes. No, I'm just kidding. But like whole body workout. Everything. Like literally arms, chest, shoulders, back, abs, obviously the legs and all that crap. It's like full body. So, to my understanding, is all I need to do is walk, and I'll get a full body exercise. So that accompanied, I'm excited for that. And I saw some on Amazon that were Amazon Choice, really good reviews, and only 25 bones, $25 to possibly do a complete full body workout just from walking. And I love walking. And I've said it before, walking plus the sound channel is killing two birds with one stone, because I'll be walking along, hear a sound, record it with my, recorder, and boom. I mean, come on, ladies and gentlemen. Because the whole thing about me scheduling out my day and making it to where there's no wasted time and I can pack the most into, this window of time, which we call a day. And also prioritizing sleep as well, not staying up and all that jazz. I need to get, minimum of 8 hours. So yeah. So let me just say, on the outside, people may look at me and be like, he doesn't have a job. That's what probably 99.9% of people on Earth would think. They'd look at me and be like, so what's your job? And I'd be like, well, how do I make money? Pearson visuals occasionally and some other side things. I'm just basically a freelancer. Oh, okay, so you have no job. That's what people would think. But what people don't know is I work dang near 8 hours a day. Every day. No days off, ladies and gentlemen. I work, especially when you include like just, cleaning up around the house and making dinners. Especially when you include that, it's easily 8 hours doing that plus my computer every single day, no days off. All right? No days off. And people have the audacity to believe that I have no job. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And recently I've been even working probably more than 8 hours a day, because I've just been pumping out designs after designs for Christmas gifts and things, and my body's breaking down. My shoulders are starting to hurt, my wrists, my fingers, my back, my lower back. Everything is hurting. And I need to take a break because I've just been pumping out content. My computer is like, must be looking like Gary at the snail race. You know what I mean? Like from SpongeBob. My computer's probably struggling because there is not a night that goes by. My computer's basically working 24/7. The only time I turn it off is when I leave the house, and I don't like having outlets on. But every single night, my computer is rendering out a 10-hour 4K video. All right. So God bless you. All right. God bless you. You have made me a happier man and so much money. Well, not that much money comparatively, but more than what you're worth. But you're priceless. Ignore that. So yeah, my body's breaking down, and if my body's breaking down, then my computer must be struggling as well. So, just a quick flex. Today is December 6th, and a couple days ago, I completed shopping for, I think, 10 people and got 11 gifts. All ordered, all done, out of my control. I'm pretty proud of that. It's the most gifts I've gotten for people, just like the amount of gifts ever. I love giving gifts, and this whole Christmas time is my favorite time. And it's like 19 days till Christmas today. I'm like, huh? It's crazy. Um, yeah, I restarted this podcast because I was talking gibberish the first like 2 minutes. I don't know if I mentioned, but boom, episode 48 from this magnet thing. Um, why did I mention that? Who knows? The world will never know. So I am gonna really try and make it to an hour, but now that I stopped my recording, I don't know what I stopped it at, but right now this session is 11 minutes. I think I stopped it around half an hour, so I think I have about 20 minutes to go. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna stop whenever I want to stop. So update on my sound channel. And heck, if you're still listening to this point, I'll drop the name. It's Z Time on YouTube. Good luck, you won't even find it because there's still 2 subscribers, me and my grandpa. I remember, it's so funny. Well, one, I realized just now, it's like there's no point in keeping it a secret because I thought it was going to grow a lot faster. But now that I know, there's like this whole trend of people trying it, and people are giving up day after day. Plus, they're not even making good content. Plus, they're getting copyrights, or not copyright strikes, but demonetized by YouTube because they're just they're just using free stock photos and free audio, and they're not doing anything creative whatsoever. Embarrassing. But so it's so the whole meditation channel thing is so not overly saturated, but like incredibly saturated right now. So it's like, there are some videos on there that have 0 views. 0. It's crazy. But like I said earlier, it only takes one to put me into the algorithm. So, and it goes with everything, podcast, breeze and visuals, everything. I'll start getting into this, you know, this flowing river. I'll finally be able to jump in whenever the algorithm, uh, you know, notices me. I mean, you'd think, and this is what just my thinking, I've always been a pretty good understanding of what the algorithm might. You have to think like a robot. If I upload these podcasts every single ding dong Monday at around the same time, now sometimes most time I record it on Monday, which ideally I should record it, Saturday, Sunday, and then have it scheduled to upload at 6 a.m. so people have, people can count on something. But life gets in the way sometimes. But you have to think like a robot. If I upload this every Monday, more or less, around the same time, and the algorithm sees, okay, here's some podcasts, and the numbers keep going up. The numbers haven't stopped for almost a year. And, fast forward a few years, wow, these numbers, they haven't stopped for a few years. And what the YouTube algorithm does is it slowly kind of puts out feelers. Okay, let's see how this this video does if I put it out to 1% of the people. Okay, it does decent. Let's put it out to 2. Let's put it out to 4, 8, 12, and then it goes on. That's how I'm assuming the YouTube algorithm works, but it is evolving every second of every single day, and even the people that made the algorithm have no idea how it works. So that should tell you something about that. The only thing that knows the algorithm, even the algorithm doesn't even know the algorithm. You know what I mean? Now we're getting real deep. So yeah. Honestly, sometimes I get like lightheaded just because I'm talking so much. Need to remember to breathe. But yeah, update on the sound channel. Still two subscribers. Me and my grandpa. If you care to subscribe and support, uh, it's called Z Time on Z Space Time on YouTube, but I guarantee you won't even be able to find it. But if you do, you know, God bless. See, the reason I think one of the reasons I didn't want to share it is if I saw a new subscriber on there, I knew it wasn't anybody affiliated to me. And and honestly, I know that this podcast is so small, and there's probably, if max, probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 people that are watching this, and a lot of them are probably my friends and family. Um, and if you are, shout outs to you. God bless you and your offspring. But yeah, that's the transcriptors say because I'm lost. Oh yeah, so if I saw a like or a sub or whatever on the Z Time channel, then I would be like, I'd know it was someone completely not even related to me. Because right now, even on this podcast, I've yet to get a single comment from someone that isn't in my friends or family. Um, but I've been watching YouTube long enough to know that it'll happen when it happens, and that's life, you know. Um, I really want to make it to an hour, so I'm gonna try. I've been worried about the YouTube demonetization button is a scary one, especially for these meditation channels. Um, because I think the YouTube algorithm is seeing that, wow, there's a huge craze of people just wanting to make money off of it. And I do most definitely want to make money off of it. I know you can make an insane amount of money, but on the other side, I for sure am loving doing it. It's completely inspired me to do so many more things that I would have never thought of doing. And I truly feel like I'm filling a void. The only person that I see is coming close to it is the biggest one, which is relaxing white noise or something like that. But and if they make it themselves, God bless, but I'm not sure how they're doing it. But I don't know. But basically, the void that I think I'm filling is, these trippy videos that people wouldn't be able to actually record because, it doesn't exist. Um, you know, different planets and crap like that. Um, and just, really thinking outside the box, like something that I'm excited about that I think may ruffle feathers is is making one of like looking outside of from underneath a bridge or from inside of a cardboard box. I know that's incredibly, uh, whatever. I, I can't think of the word, but like in the eyes of, oh, man, I'm just gonna say it. I don't mean to offend. In the eyes of a homeless person chilling underneath a bridge or something. And not to say this is what it would be like, because heck, homeless people are some of the smartest people. They, they see these poor saps driving to their 9 to 5 in the morning and be like, embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like literally. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I, if this doesn't work out, I'm homeless and I roam the earth. I'm fine with that. I'll still try and make content for y'all. But that's just how life is for me. I am not going back to a 9 to 5. No way, no how. Okay? This is it for me. And saying, this is it for me, it's like, sounds bad, but that was the wrong thing, because homelessness would just be another step into my life. And there's so many things. Like, one thing that I would want to do is make a vlog. There's this the longest road in the world to travel, where you don't have to cross any where you can like walk, um is from Cape Town, South Africa, like the very bottom of South Africa, to Magadan, Russia, where planes and boats are not needed. There are bridges, and it's almost 14,000 miles, and would take almost 4,500 hours to complete. That would be something that I would love to do. And if I get killed on the way, God bless. But the thing is, like, I'm fine with doing crap like that. If life will give me what life will give me. Simple as that. Not much I can do. The only thing I can do is try my best, and simple as that. But it definitely has made it difficult for me to relate to other people, that's for sure. Um, the person that I probably relate the most with is my friend Josiah, and he's slowly getting less and less on the boat that I am in. Well, there is up and downs. I say less and less, not because of his ambition, but because he's moved out, um, with a girlfriend and things like that. So, and he works as an electrician right now, so he's got a job that he likes. But um, so it's like there's no one I can completely 100% relate to. And maybe that's normal. I feel like that's probably normal for almost everyone. Um, but yeah, it's just very difficult. It's very difficult for me to make new friends, have a relationship like a girlfriend, almost impossible. Um, because I don't have a lot of income, and girls like income. Yeah, these are just things that I need to definitely work out in my head. Because on the other hand, I should pursue girls now when I have nothing. So when I have something, I know they're with me for me and not just for my things. You know what I mean? It's a difficult one. It's like finding a diamond in the rough. Is that saying from Aladdin? Who knows? Definitely slowing down now, ladies and gentlemen. I can't wait to talk about what I was talking about earlier, um, with my whole like, uh, um, you know, when I graduated to that stuff. I'm just afraid, honestly, of my little brothers hearing it, because things that just they can't comprehend yet. So I'll probably have to wait until my youngest brother is 18 or 19, or kind of have things going on, and then I'll be able to talk about it. So let's see. He's 15, 15 or 16. I don't even know. Excuse me. I had 2 cups of coffee before this. So, um, So 15 or 16. So about 2 or 3 years, I'll be able to talk about that stuff. And hopefully, and by then, I'll actually be a lot better at this. Yeah. I think I'm gonna call it there. Hopefully it's an hour, but if it ain't, it ain't. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day and a beautiful rest of your life. See you next Monday. Peace.